Hey everybody, it's me Edward Jones back with a new video. Keep a steal. This is a video response to GeneralSLee's video, Real Gun Talk, where he posed a really good question about are Americans, maybe not so far as just preppers, but are Americans as a whole to rely on firearms? And I remember I left the comment on his video saying I don't I don't think that we're too reliant on firearms. I say for one thing, they're just a major part of our culture, of our history. Not just on this, not just going by what's on the Second Amendment. Because one thing I said in that comment, and I believe it stands true, if the Constitution and the Bill of Rights were totally scrapped, people are still going to have their guns. I'm going to still have my guns. Friends of mine are still going to have theirs. It is not because of what's on paper, but what's in here. That's where I believe that's a trait. That's an American trait to own a weapon, especially own firearms, or even edge weapons, or own any weapon. I think it's a trait of of American culture, and I don't think it's going away anytime soon. I don't see it ever going away. I just got done watching a video by Hibernia's son, aka Irish, and his video Gun Talk, and he brought up a real good points about how the U.S. is compared to in other countries. And he talks about in the middle, the areas in the Middle East and also parts of Africa, where it's essential. It's not a true necessity here in the U.S. I guess because of our culture. In a way, we don't have to readily go for the gun, but we still have it just in case. But in other places across the pond, they have to have them. It's an essential day-to-day part of their lives to be armed. It's not saying that it's not saying it's not essential here. I mean, there are cases that have shown that it is necessary to have a weapon, a gun, a knife, or something with you. It's best to have one wherever you go. But in other nations, it's more urgent. It's like to say, if we here in the U.S. are in the yellow, in many other places they're in the red. Constantly, they're always in the red, and they always have to be prepared to respond to a threat. Now, it's funny that in the question, are Americans dependent upon, are they too reliant on their guns? I came up with the title of this video, Keep a Steal. I wrote it down, keep looking at the notepad, from a song that I heard a while back. One of my favorite songs is actually on my favorites list on YouTube. It's by Frayser. He's a rapper from Memphis, Tennessee. And he did a song called Walk a Mile. And the beginning of the song goes, if I remember the bar right, is real in this battlefield, so I have to keep it still. Learn coming up in the bay, kill or be killed. Essentially, he's talking about the neighborhood he grew up in, and I'm doing interpretation. It was essential for him to always pack a firearm because in the neighborhood he grew up in, if you weren't prepared to meet violence with violence, it can mean your life. So it was an essential part, of him growing up to have a gun. And it is actually like that. And I mean, you hear about what goes on in Chicago, and in parts of California, I guess parts of LA, some other areas like that. Even here in South Carolina, it's essential in some neighborhoods. You better have a gun with you. And it's funny how in a lot of rap songs, it seems more like the carrying of guns is more so encouraged in rap songs than anything else. And I understand the negative connotations that are associated with rap, but you gotta at least say that they're keeping it real when it comes to how to keep yourself safe. There's another song that another rap, I like to listen to rap. There's another rap song that That was on the album I actually bought by Chameleonaire, Sound of Revenge. It was a chopped and screwed, and it had a remix to the song "Turn It Up." And I remember the second verse. I think it was by, not by Big Hawk, but I think ESG. Yeah, he was a rapper that was on the song, and he had his line. His first lines went, "I'm gonna show you boys how to work a wood wheel. First thing, game face on, hands on the steel. You better be ready in the land of the trill, because if them jackets catch you slipping, little man, it's for real." It's the same thing that Frayser Boy said in his song, and they're based in Houston. So essentially, there are places in the U.S. where it is essential that you do carry a gun with you, even if it is against, even if it's against the law or whatever. It's best that you have one, because they're jackers, and I know in Houston it's very popular to drive cars, drive big body cars called slabs, and and this is true. People will shoot you for your car, or not just for your car, but for your rims. If you had Krager Star Wires, they call them elbows, because they stick out. They stick out like elbows. Let's call them chopping blades. They, you can get jacked for those, for your rims. So if you're gonna be out driving in your neighborhood, you better have a gun in order to respond to such attacks. Like I'm doing another hip hop interpretation, hip hop translation, but just looking at our culture, we were built from the use. Our nation was built upon the use of a firearm, the use of weapons. And when people try to compare us to other Western cultures, even some Eastern cultures, our beginnings were, I would say, different, because it was. Actually, I remember there was a documentary I watched. And it said that if you were a settler, there were 3 things you needed in order to make it. You need an axe, a plow, and a gun. You need those 3 things in order to tame the land. And that culture has stuck with us up to this day. We have we have people of different social economic backgrounds. And then they have one firearm or multiple firearms. They have all auto-loading rifles, different types of shotguns, different types of handguns, all various types of knives. I think weapons are just a part of us. They're a part of who we are as Americans. So I don't really think that we're too dependent. I would go and say that we're not dependent enough. We don't count on them enough. In a sense that we don't respond to I think the problem in our nation is that we've swept under the rug the fact that there are violent elements out there. We may see them a lot on the news or on TV, and we may not encounter them on our day-to-day lives like in some other nations, but they're out there. And I think it lulls parts of our society into a false sense of security, and that's when people, when these mass shootings happen, or these mass murders happen, people wonder, oh, this? You didn't think it happened here? Well, on this earth, there are predators on 4 legs and 2 legs, and you gotta be prepared for these types of encounters in some form or fashion, and to look at those who do try to be prepared as being crazy, well, you're actually doing yourself a disservice. You can actually learn a thing or two, because we're animals, and we must understand that there are, in our ecosystem, there are predators of different varieties, and we must be able to respond to those predators which way we can. And this is if whether a major SHTF situation happens or not. There are always going to be predators out there. So as far as whether the U.S. whether American society is too reliant on firearms, I don't think so. I think we can actually we can do a lot more with knowledge we have. We can continue to teach others through YouTube videos, through just conversations with people that are close to us, or just even people that we just meet. in our day-to-day lives. So I think it's something that can actually, it can grow. I think it is growing. Some people, they like to see it gotten rid of, but they can kick dirt because it ain't going anywhere anytime soon. But that's my this is my video on whether I believe Americans are too reliant on firearms. I just don't see it. I think we'll go even further with it. Maybe someday I can go to a hardware store and buy a Thompson. That'd be nice. I must say, or even a BAR. I remember I got that the SHTF wish list. I still got it. And maybe it was someday I'll do a video where I have some add-ons to it. But that's my video. Please tell me if you got any, if you agree with what I'm saying or not. I encourage you to check out Hibernia's son and GeneralSLee's channels. Check out their videos. They're very interesting. They have a lot of good information. Also check out Frayser Boy. He had an album that came out several years ago called Gone on That Bay. If you're into rap music, and if you find the song Walk a Mile, then you'll see what I'm talking about from that song. But yeah, that's my video. Please leave your input in the comment section. If you got any gripes, complaints, please direct them to me in my inbox. Just please be courteous to everyone else who's watching this video. Keep it steel, still got mine. I'm Edward Jones. You take care.